step that, and we said like we're gonna actually do some kind of problem solving today, and especially in your exam, maybe someone asked yesterday in your section, or maybe other one, I forgot, that how this can be come in the exam or maybe the assessment. So the initially that the thing we have discussed, just showing you here. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Let me.
Yes, sir.
You can see the screen right now. Okay, so as you can see that the initial discussion that we have done, they are actually based on the basic understanding about a line, the equation for the line, and that the theta or the slope, actually how it has a relationship in the space, about the difference between the 2 points, 2 endpoints, which is given for drawing a line, and their distance or according to the x coordinate, which we consider as del x or dx, and the distance on the basis of the y coordinate between those 2 points is del y or dy. Those two terminology is actually we need it because we can apply it for the equation y equal to mx. But for the algorithm for digital differential analyzer, as we are actually considering the differential, that concept, so that's why actually we need those distances regarding those 2 points, and we have seen that in different values for the slope, 3 possible category can be. It can be more other, but 3 are the actually basic. If we consider that the slope is 1, then that means actually theta is 45 degree. So that in 45 degree, that alignment of the line, if they has, then actually that is one of the values for a line can have, or maybe less than 45 degree, or maybe more than 45 degree. That means the values for slope can be equal to 1, or less than 1, or maybe greater than 1. So 3 possible scenario. But for other 2, actually the consideration can be a line like actually parallel to the x-axis, or maybe parallel to the y-axis. That is also the possibility of the line can be. So that is also we'll check when we will apply the DDA algorithm. And for the algorithm, as it's in the formal part, that step by step how we can actually find out or we can apply for actually find out the values for the line. The another concern, another discussion that we have done, that should be in another page with you. Yes, this one, that what an algorithm can actually give you or can find it out, that is actually in between the points, because end of the day in the digital screen concern, that whatever you have for the endpoints, that means actually 2 identified pixel values for the coordinate that you have for x1 y1 and x2 y2. So in between all other pixel, that is actually the identification can be done by the algorithm. So all other pixel will be identified, so that end of the day you actually take a step to illuminate those pixels with some color maybe. Then actually you can see a line has been drawn, because there is not a line that you can see on the graph. Not that type of line is actually generated on the screen. On the screen, basically the pixels that which can be identified or illuminated. On the basis of that, actually you can find a line in there. So that's actually we try to do with the algorithm, and we discussed yesterday that what are the actually step by step that process for that algorithm. And you can see here the very beginning the algorithm starts with that the given those points. So you must need actually 2 points to start the algorithm, and those 2 points are basically the endpoints. Okay, the endpoints. So why we are saying, because we are thinking about a finite line, and if it is a finite line, then actually the endpoint you need is say like x1 y1 and x2 y2. We are considering at this moment that maybe x2 is greater than x1. It can be vice versa, no problem, because you see that for any line, for any random space, that if we think about this is my starting point, also we may think like this is my starting point, so that maybe you can get actually all these points up to this is my end point maybe. So end of the day in the space it should be the same line, so it can be. So that's why it can have actually always the absolute value that we have taken. We discussed that one yesterday as well. Now in the state 2, we calculate, we find out the values for del x, that means actually the distance of between the x coordinates, and the del y, the distance for the y coordinate, because we need those two differences. Then we compare those two values on their absolute value, actually not the sign value. So that's why we try to avoid the sign if it is negative or if it is positive, and that's why we use the absolute function. As you know that that function give you actually only the values, the numeric values, not the sign. So if we consider out of those two, which one is bigger, so that we can understand that many number of actually pixel had been used. Okay, so that many number of pixel will be identified. So that's why we need that number, and that number is nothing but the steps. So that we give a name is a steps, and that is steps. If it is greater than the del x, then we consider that is my steps. If it is not, then we consider by default the del y is our step. Then we calculate the increment value. Now what is the increment? Yesterday we have seen that from one point to another point or another pixel, that the coordinate value that we are going to get, it is understandable that that has some change. That's some change in regarding that the value for x and y coordinates. So that this point, if this is my first point, then the second one that we are going, you can see that this is actually one value for x and y coordinate has been changed. So that is actually added with 1 point. So and the next one is again added with 1 point. So there are some actually value, a constant value which is actually changing, or have the changes to each and every pixel on the space, so that we may understand that this is actually changing maybe for each and every sum of that value. Now that factor, or that actually that the constant value we are going to find out, so that we are calling it incremented value. Increment in that sense we are considering changes, because you can understand if this is my starting point, and if we are going to actually find out the values for those actually pixels, then it is definitely decrement the value, but still we consider that is an increment, in that sense that this is the change. Okay, so that increment also can have some value which is maybe have a changes. Now that could have a negative value as well, as you know that if it is decremented. Now what actually the formula for it to get it, that this difference that you have for x increment to find. Okay, so for changes in the x increment, that in the x coordinate basis, that should be the changes in the x coordinate divided by the steps, that how many we have. And the same way that the changes of the y coordinate, that is the del y, and divided by the steps, then we get the x increment and y increment. Now to get the all other subsequent values for one by one by one, that all these pixels, we are going to put that in a loop, because in a loop only we can handle it. Now to put that in a loop, we use actually the for loop. And as we know that in for loop, that this is the syntax for the for loop that can be used. We use variable for I, which is considering for the steps, that one after another. So we start with the first step, then it will be run as long as how many steps we have, means how many points we are going to find out, and we will actually post increment that one. Then put pixel is a function. When see that it is actually the specific value of those pixel, that coordinate, it will actually light up so that we can actually see it in the screen. Now, what is that x1 and y1? X1 and y1 is actually the coordinate value for the pixel. Now, how that coordinate value of the pixel will be maintained? As you know that it can be maintained that the first one, the second one will be the previous one with the increment value that will be changed. Then we will gauge it. Then the next one will be the previous one with the incremented value, and then actually we can put it like this way, it will go. So that's why actually we have that x1 is actually the next value should be the x1 itself, previous value with the incremented. Then it will be changed for the second point's value, and then the third point value will be the second point value with the incremented value, and like this way that loop will go on, or one after another for the steps. Whenever we'll reach on the final one, that steps, that means the number of the steps, and then it will execute once, and then actually it will come out. So this is that algorithm for the DDA. We are
Sir.
going to actually apply it. Yes, Uday.
Sir, can I add something?
Yes,
Sir,
please.
if we consider the I equals to 1 for the loop, so sir, can you just move the camera little bit down, sir? Yes, sir.
Yes.
So x1 equals to x1 plus x increment. Can we write like x1 plus I? So it will increase up to I. So I equals to 2. It will be x1 plus 3, x1 plus 4. It will be incremented like this.
That is, can you please say it again? I missed it.
Okay, sir. Sir, I was saying that if we consider the I as the index number, as you were saying that the pixels are incrementing and decrementing, so we can say this is the index. We are indexing something. So I is the index number. So if we write x1 plus I, that means the I will be added with 1. So the x incremented value will be automatically added to the x1 value. So it will we don't need to write the x inc. So the total equation will be x1 equals to x1 sub plus 1. Like the I will be written with 1.
Then what should be for the y? Because
Yes,
one thing is actually important here. As you can see, it is not necessary for all of your line, the x and y, it will have a actually vary. Okay, so that increment value, this increment value will always not be 1. It will have a fraction as well. Okay, so if it is having a fraction, then actually the changes, the as it is a straight line, the changes for the x and y should be same for the entire line, right? For all of them, means that increment value as it would be added. Now I need actually the I1 I have taken only for that, actually considering the loop to be done up to the steps, that how many we need. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So as you said, it is especially not the index, it is actually the steps indicating. So if we take up to 0, then actually you should go up to in less than the steps, so that before that actually it can go. So this is also can work. So in here that I don't actually want to take the I, not for assigning the index, okay, not adding for the I, especially I'm considering this is actually for the next one is I plus 1, means so whenever I started, this one is 1, okay, and then this the first value is added with the incremented value, that how much it will be changed. Okay, that value gives you the second, actually the point. Okay, so that is actually automatically becoming I plus 1. Then I plus 1, that means actually the second value added with that fixed incremented value or changed value, then it become I plus 2, means actually the third points actually coordinate value of that x coordinate value. Okay, so that's why this is actually more simplification, as you can put, because you need to actually also use a function to pointing that one x1 y1.
Yes, sir. So I had another question. So if we skip a single pixel, then what will happen, sir?
If you skip,
Yes, sir. Suppose we need to skip only one pixel.
why should you skip?
Sir, we can have a picture that a straight line, but there is a gap, a small gap. So this may happen that we can see many pictures like for very geometrical
Okay,
shapes.
so that maybe you want to actually, you said like at some of the point you should not actually draw, then definitely you will rewrite your function here, right? In this loop that you will rewrite that function, maybe you need to know that which pixel you want to actually skip. If you want to put a pattern, then definitely that sum of the one that put pixel function that you try to avoid. Right, you
Sir,
put
got it, sir.
if you put a condition here in between there, then definitely you can handle it. But you need to know that which one you have to put out. Now, one thing is important. That's we are considering in a graph paper, so that we can consider 10, 12 pixel. That is fine. But especially if you consider that many pixel in the screen in your C program, if you run it, then actually you cannot even see it. It will be into a dot maybe, because there's a few thousands or maybe that many number of pixels you have. So that is actually will give you. Now, even though this algorithm has some limitation, that's why we go for another line drawing algorithm to discuss about that one. Even the example that we are going to do today, then you will see that what the values come in between, that what is the values come that does not look like a straight line. Okay, so we'll see that later as well, and out of that some of the pixel that actually we will go for consideration, that whether we are going to consider it or maybe we are going to avoid it. Okay, that is in another one that we're gonna do. All right, we'll go for actually the examples, then actually it will be more better understanding for the implementation of the algorithm. Let us finish the attendance first, then we are coming back. Okay, I think Nahida, you said like you're going to Tajuddin Ahmed Medical for my COVID vaccine. So you are how you are getting the vaccine?
Sir, actually, sir, actually, I'm abroad student in Germany, so
Okay.
I get it Shurukha app, and I register.
So what student you have signed?
Sir, Germany.
Sorry, I didn't get it. You are a student in Germany for which program?
Sir, a autonomous vehicle engineering from my university name is Technicius Ingolstadt.
So are you
Yes, sir.
changing the program? Means you are not continuing this program?
Sir, I'm joining in online class, online platform, because Germany embassy not get appointment this time. That's why I'm enrollment through in online.
Are you doing the bachelor degree?
Yes, sir.
So why you are doing the 2 bachelor degree?
Sir, sir, this is a Germany bachelor degree system. First of all, I get in Bangladeshi reputed university 1 year CCPA. Then I applied there. So then.
No, that does not mean that you need to do actually the degree. Usually, so far I know that. Did you get any scholarship, or
No,
is it
sir,
a tuition free?
No, sir, I didn't get any kind of scholarship. I paid.
That scholarship that is for DAAD, for German scholarship. What about your language proficiency? Do you need to do that language course?
Sir, IELTS.
No, German language proficiency.
German language, no, sir. I have no, but I'm trying. Sir, now I can't enroll in kind of German.
They have for bachelor degree. They ask for actually that you should have the German proficiency.
Sir, I'm enrolled in English language.
Yeah, that is fine. But whenever you will go, that you will badly face that German. How badly it is necessary. Usually they don't use
sir,
any
my
English
elder
actually.
brother. Actually, sir, my elder brother lived there.
Okay.
The citizenship this country, and and when I go there, then I enrolled in German language school.
So no, my concern is, do you really need to continue this bachelor program in the university in Bangladesh? Is there any necessity or anything, or you are just continuing the
Sir,
CSC program I'm talking about?
Sir, I'm just continue because I'm going there, and their rules is when I complete my 1 year CGPA in Bangladesh, then I apply there. That's why I'm doing. That's why I'm enroll IBT and go up my CGPA. Then I apply and I get offer letter. Then I enrolled there.
Okay.
But now I'm not doing class start there. I'm just enrolled. My class start will be in November.
So you are from 1930, so 2030. You have done already 1 year. 1 year means fourth semester you have done, right?
Yes,
in
sir.
IBT. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now do you really need to continue? That was my question, because you have done already 1 year, more than 1 year.
Yes, sir. But this is rules in Germany. That's why I'm staying. Continue my.
So say like within a few days from September onwards, maybe you are going to start in Germany through online classes. Then do you need to continue this program?
Yes, sir. I need to continue this program because I can't ensure that when my where is my appointment, which date embassy give me, because embassy is too much slowly work their other student appointment as well. That's why I'm just wait.
If you would be in master's program, you would get by this time actually, but for bachelor, they are not sure yet that because embassy is open. One of my
yes, sir, embassy is
thesis
open,
student got a scholarship admission and visa as well last month.
Yes,
so
sir. They first of all, yes, sir. First of all, they start masters students visa, then they start bachelor, and bachelor about 150 student now, and masters 500 above. So it's too much time to.
And what is the program you said?
Autonomous vehicle engineer.
Autonomous vehicle engineering. Is it more related with the mechanical engineering?
Sir, it's a automobiles engineering and also a robotics. Some kind of robotics. Sir, I get two offer letter. One is this and one is artificial intelligence. So I'm just enrolled.
So you are quite interested about the subject, right?
Yes.
About that program? Okay, yes. And yes.
Since you are doing CSC here, so why you didn't apply for CSC there?
I think That
the
is
subject not
actually
available.
Ashik. That is actually the major. Okay, whenever she will start, she will do many courses, which is foundation for the CSC. Means the engineering program, especially the mathematics. She will have many mathematics and also electronics. So the basic course, you heard that she will get around maybe one course or two course in a year, like relevant with the automobile. You have to go for artificial intelligence. You have to go for deep learning, those type of courses, maybe at the end.
Yes, sir.
So there is no specific course. Also, actually, mechanical engineering, the automobile related course she will have. And I think for bachelor, it's always should go a foundation course. Like foundation program is actually better, but I think she had an option like that. That's
No,
why.
sir. Germany didn't get any kind of foundation course. They need always German language. I just complete A1, but university need at least A2.
Yes, that's. I just asked you that. Did you have done any German language
Yes, sir. I
proficiency?
complete
That is
A1.
for A1. Yes. Otherwise, you would not get. I was just wondering that without language proficiency, they don't give actually the admission. However, how good you are in English doesn't matter.
Yes,
Means
sir.
in your even the IELTS
But
score
sir,
or
one
maybe.
thing is there are many kinds of university. They need to English language proficiency. Kind of our
Especially in master's level, they need it
medium of
because
instruction
in
and
world actually
RTS.
two countries they don't bother that much the English, that is the German and Japan. And technological study is also they try to implement through their own language. That's why you will find some scientist, a Japanese scientist, but very poor in English. You will find them. The same with the German as well. Okay, wish you good luck. I hope that that is definitely should go to your passion. It's a special subject. Without passion, it's very difficult to complete. Okay, so that's why I'm saying you should have passion about that course or subject. All right, let us continue. Jannat, do you have Alif Laila Jannat?
Okay, sir, can I go?
Yes, please, you can. Ashikur Rahman Ashik. Do you have Ashikur Rahman Ashik? Muhammad Alamin. Muhammad Alamin. What happened to
Yes, sir.
starters? Yes, Alamin.
Yes, sir.
Nishat Ara. Nishat Ara. Shahidul Islam Antor.
Present, sir.
Okay, Antor. Sumaya Akhtar.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sumaya. Arifa Ritu.
Present, sir.
Okay, Ritu. Jinatun Nessa.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Jinat Parvez.
Present, sir.
Okay, Parvez. Redwan Ratul.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ratul. Salvi Sabah.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Sabah. Jakaria Pappu.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Pappu. Maria Mehjabin. Maria Mehjabin.
Present, sir.
Okay. Israt Jarin. Israt Jarin. Abdul Khalek. Muhammad Abdul Khalek. Rabina Afrin Ami.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ami. Tasnova Yasin Esha.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Esha. Shariar Toyan. Shariar Toyan. Hussein Ahmed Antor. Hussein Ahmed Antor. Protasha Roy.
Yes, sir.
Sharonika.
Yes, sir.
Khadija Ria.
Present, sir.
Okay, Ria. Rahat Islam Rupu.
Present, please, sir.
Okay, Rupu. Mahmoud Akhtar.
Yes, sir.
Mahmuda is there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Didar Al Mahmud.
Present, sir.
Okay, Didar. Tamanna Tabassum.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tamanna. Saif Mahmud Sifat. Saif Mahmud Sifat.
Was in the class, sir, but he left for medical, sir.
Sorry.
Left for medical treatment. He messaged me, sir.
He is in hospital.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fairuz Tanjim Achal. Fairuz Tanjim Achal.
Yes, sir.
Sadiat Achal is there. Shetuli.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uday.
Present, sir.
Okay, Uday. Sadia Hussain Mauri.
Yes, sir.
Sadia Akhtar.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mantakimo Rahman.
Yes, sir.
Atik Faisal Himon.
Yes, sir.
Himon. Rahul Devnath. Rahul Devnath. Nishat Taslim Jyoti.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Jyoti. Sadat Mahmud Khan. Sadat Mahmud Khan. Firdaus Hassan Rifat.
Yes, sir.
Firdaus Hassan Rifat.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Minhaj Manib.
Yes, sir.
Manib. Nahida Islam. Okay, Nahida was there. Hasibul Hassan Shanto. Hasibul Hassan Shanto. Sultana. Sharmin Sultana. Ryan Hussein.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ryan. Al Amin. Al Amin. Tariqul Islam.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Tariq. And Ashikujaman.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anyone missed? No. All right. Let's continue with that. We said we are going to apply that one with some problem. So like we need a graph. I made actually graph for 2020 of the number of sale. For that, so like we are going to have few different scenario we try to consider, especially we have seen that the line can be like this, all 5 scenario. Some of the example, a line with that maybe slope is less than 1, maybe exactly 1, maybe the slope is actually greater than 1, or maybe the slope is infinity with this one, and also this one is actually 0. Now let us consider a value 2 point. As you can remember that the algorithm has to be with 2 endpoints for always started to execute, so that say like in the examples for DDA algorithm, so 2 point has been given for an example. Say the points are the P1 is actually that x1 that 2 say value, and P2 is actually say 9 the 2 set of point has been given. Now we need to find out that what actually the other points in between in there. So according to the algorithm, what we need to do for the second step, as I can remember, the second step should be that calculating. Yes. Yes.
Yes, sir. The del x and the del y. That means
del x. Yes, that to find out that the differences. So we need to find out for del x and del y. From those two set of point, we can understand that x1 is actually 2 and y1 is actually 2, where that x2 is actually 9 and y2 is actually 2. So for del x, if we calculate that del x is actually that x2 minus x1 is equal to 9 minus 2 is equal to 7, right? The same way with del y is actually y2 minus y1 is equal to 2 minus 2 is equal to 0. Right? I think, let me sorry. So is equal to 0. Now at this case, as the third step is actually we are going to find out the incremented value, that what actually what should be the steps first that we need to identify in the third step. So for that, out of that 2, so we can say steps is actually 7, isn't it? We can consider that means actually the del x is greater than actually del y. So that understandable, the 7 in between points that we are going to have after this actually the first or starting point. Now for that the increment value that we are going to find out, that increment value is as you can see that del x divided by steps and del y divided by steps, that will give you the x increment and y increment value. Now again we will calculate that x increment is equal to del x divided by steps. That means del x is actually we had what, 7, right? The 7 divided 7 is equal to 1. So x increment is actually 1, that we can understand. Y increment is del y divided by steps. Now del y is actually 0. 0 divided by steps 7. What should be the value?
0.
0, right? As we know that if we divide by anything to the 0, then actually it is 0. So y increment has, like, there is no changes in the y. We can actually understand. Also there is a hint, as you can see that 2 for the first point, last point is also actually 2 for the y coordinate value. So there is actually no change that we have. And we also can understand that the slope, if we want to find out the slope, what is the formula for the slope to find out? Del y del x, right? Yesterday we
Sir,
have
I
seen
think
that.
it's a parallel line.
It's a parallel line, definitely. So that that del y divided by del x is also actually give you 0. That means actually the slope is 0, and slope is 0 is actually only that line which is parallel to the x coordinate or the vertical line, as yes, vertical line, sorry, horizontal line that we're gonna have. Let us find out all other points, and then we can see. To find out the points, we take it a table, x and coordinate and y coordinate value, and for the table, the first point, we will start with the first point, which is actually the 2 and 2, right? The x and y coordinate value. Then we are going to get the next point. Next point, what is the formula? That next point in that loop we have done the x1 plus the x increment. So x1, the x increment is actually 1. So 2 plus 1 is actually 3, the next coordinate. Y1 is actually y1, that means actually the previous value for y plus y increment. So 2 plus 0 is actually 2, right? So the next point now this is actually that one. So the steps that we are actually going to count for that one, for up to 90, you can see that it will be stop up to the steps that 7, up to the 7 that we're gonna have. Now 3 plus 1 is 4, and 2 plus 0 is actually 2. Then 4 plus 1 is 5, and 2 plus 0 is 2. Then 5 plus 1 is 6, and 2 plus 0 is 0. And 6 plus 1 is 7, and 7
It's 2.
2, and 2 plus 0 is actually 2. Now you can find out like that 7, then 8, and 2 plus 0 is 2, and then 9, and 2 plus 0 is 2. Now if we consider that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, so here actually automatically it will be stopped. It will not check that whether you are in the last point or not. According to the algorithm, it should count actually the stop, because that is actually my step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So equal to 7, then it will come out. The next one is greater than steps, then it will not actually work out. Now all these points, if we want to actually put down in the graph, okay, remember that we are considering the conventional graph here. That means you can see in the entire screen, yeah, that this is actually my origin point, right? 0 and 0, and this is actually that x coordinate, this is actually the y coordinate, goes on. For the first point which we had, it was 2 and 2. So what actually, how we can count it? 1, 2, and 1, 2. Now which point I should consider? This point, this pixel, right? So remember that we are not taking the value, we are considering the pixel when we are plotting the digital screen, right? So that we are considering this is actually my first pixel, okay? Second one is actually 3, 2. So 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2. That means this pixel, right? Then we'll get to 4, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2. So this pixel. Then 5, 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So this pixel. Then 6, 2, 7, 2, 8, 2, and 9, 2. So my put pixel function will actually light up this pixels, and end of the day you can see a parallel line for the x-axis or a horizontal line. Okay, that's why the slope was actually 0 for this case. Do you get it?
Yes, sir.
This is
Yes,
the easiest actually the problem that we had, right? So that you can go for a vertical line parallel to the y-axis as well. Okay, let us go for, I'll go for another one actually, for not the parallel one, we'll go for a different value, maybe it's some kind of fraction, that is maybe we can check. Say a line which is, this is the, maybe say number 1, one of the line which is indicating number 1. I want to work with another one which is actually the number 2. Say like point is P1 is 2, 5, 2 and 5, and P2 is
So
actually,
do we need to draw in the graph paper in the exam?
yes. If you don't have the graph paper, you need to actually draw like this way, okay?
Yes.
At least for that one. All this algorithm you need to actually use the graph paper, because you will do the calculation and the values you need to show that on the graph, that whatever you are getting. So this one I hope that you can try. This would be a parallel line for the y-axis. let us try for another one, which is 3 is having, say, P1 is 54 and P2 is 12.7. Okay, so two different points. So we can find out, as we know that here as well, that x1 is 5, y1 is 4, x2 is 12, and y2 is 7. Be careful with these points, because many students do mistake here. Okay, that x1 5, x2 4, maybe this is a what is called sleeping mistake, like people do. So be careful when you take it. Better you write it so that it will be better. Then we calculate del x. Del x is actually x2 minus x1 is 12 minus 5 is equal to 7, and del y is actually that 7 minus 4, y2 minus y1, which is 3, right? We get. We can also check slope. You see that in the algorithm we directly not using the slope, but you can also find out the value for slope for del y by del x, as you can see, which is 3 by 7, right? 3 by 7 is actually a value is actually 0.4, something like that. So which is actually indicating what? That m is actually less than 1, right? So a line we are going to get, which is actually the slope would be less than 45 degree. We'll see that on the graph later. Now let us find out the x increment and y increment. As you know that that x increment should be del x divided by steps, del x divided by steps. Now, sorry, we did not identify what should be the steps. We consider now steps should be, as del x is greater than, so steps is actually 7, right? And here del x is actually the 7 divided by 7, so that the x increment become a 1. Now in y increment is actually the del y divided by steps, and del y is actually 3 divided by 7 is, you will get 0.4, right? So the values we get like 1 and 0.4. So we are going to get actually x, the y, and also you see that the y will have some fraction value. We need actually some round value for the y. Then why it is so? Because whenever we go for the graph, you see that you cannot put a fraction value, because a coordinate will give you a single pixel. Okay, so we need actually round integer value for xy coordinate. So that's why we try to use actually a round function to get, whenever it will be some fraction, we'll get a round value for it. So my first point was actually that 5,4, right? So we had actually the 5,4. So for that 4, the round value is actually the 4. So end of the day, we'll take this 2 of this column for the points coordinate value. Then the second point is actually the 5 plus x increment, which is 6, and 4 plus y increment is actually 4.4. And for 4.4, what should be the round value?
4.
Yes, sir.
A 4. As we know that 0.5, if we have a fraction for 0.5, then actually we go for the upper boundary. Now 6 and then increment with 1 is actually 7, and 4.4, it will be that 0.4 if we add, then 4.8. Now what should be the round value? The 5, right? Okay. The next one, that's 7, as also the step, as we are counting, this is 1, this is 2, then 7 should be 8, then 4.8 plus 0.4 is actually 5.2, and our round value also will be 5, right? Then we go for the fourth number iteration, so that 8 should be 9 and 5.2 should be 5.6, right? And 5.6 actually 6. Alright, then we go for the next one is actually the fifth number iteration is 9 would be 10 and 5.6 would be
6.0.
exactly 6, what 6.0, so it should be 6. And then the sixth iteration should be 10 will be 11, and that 6 will be 6.4, and it will be 6 itself. And then actually the seventh iteration should be 11 is actually 12, and 6.4 will be 6.8, right? And that will be actually the 7. You see our seventh number iteration is done, so that will stop it, and you can see that that was actually also the last point that was given in the algorithm. So these are the points actually we have got: 5 4 6 4 7 5 8 5 9 6 10 6 11 6 and 7 6. Now if we actually want to plot in here on the graph of those points, the first one is actually 5 4, so we go for 1 2 3 4, sorry, cannot be seen maybe, so 1 2 3 4 5, and then 1 2 3 4, so this is the point, so that this should be my pixel, okay, the first pixel. Then we have 6 4, so this is 6 1 2 3 4 for this point, so this should be my second pixel. The second value, third value is, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 1 2 3 4 5, so that is my third pixel. Now the next one is actually 8 5, so that 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 1 2 3 4 5, so this is my next pixel. Then 9 6, so this is 9 and this is 6, so this is my next pixel. Then 10 6, that 10 6, so 10 and this would be the 10 6, that point, so this is my next pixel. Then 11 6, again this is my 11 and this is the 6, then this would be the next pixel. And then finally that 12 7, so this should be the 12 and this should be the 7. Okay, we can count 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, okay, and this should be the pixel there. So look at the line now, it is kind of a zigzag, isn't it? So this algorithm, you cannot feel it because the for thousands of those pixels it will look like that this is actually a straight line, but actually it is not very smooth. As you can see that the line actually goes like there are some pixel that maybe which is not the perfect one to go through for the straight line, okay. So that is actually the limitation for this algorithm as well, that you may not actually get a very smooth line. Maybe you need furthermore any other algorithm for drawing the line which will give you actually the best value, okay. So an example for the number 3, I hope that you will try with other examples. I'll just give you some of the examples. So like number 4 is say P1 is 5 and 7, and P2 is actually 10 and 15, okay. That is one of the line where actually you will find m will be greater than 1, okay, and another one for 5 where m will be actually the equal 1 you will get the point say 12 9 and 17 14. P1 is 12 9 and P2 is 17 and 14. Okay, these three you try by your own. Just drawing a 20 by 20 maybe cell is actually fine for that a graph. You just put down that values and check the line how it looks like, just for your practice. Always remember that as we are actually doing that graph in this way, that actually it's going as my origin is in here, so that whenever I select a point, that indicate that this subsequent, this is actually the pixel for that point. Okay, now if you want to do that from this point, like this is my origin point, then actually if you have a point like this, then actually this should be your that reference pixel. Okay, so it's up to you that how you will define the graph, but it is better for this sort of problem that you use the conventional graph that is type. Okay, and I'm just write down this point, this one, 0.225 212, the 5 7 10 15, and actually 12 9 17 14. So you will get actually three different type of lines for it. All right, so next day we are not coming back with the DDA. That's the thing. So that's why I'm just requesting you that please do it by your own. Okay, I'll for this some document that I'll actually share with you, that you will get it. Okay, any question, anything? Are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, then we finish the class here for today. I'll see you on the next class. And I wanted to actually introduce the OpenGL today actually for setting up and starting to work. Maybe in the next class, that would be the first priority to start with. Okay. All right, take care. I'll see you in the next day.
Okay, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Salam.